one stock that is about to skyrocket. Talking about Amazon here, AMZN. They were in the news for laying off 30,000 people. They were in the news for having an AWS, Amazon Web Services, outage. Turns out everything was fine come earnings day. Big move up. And part of that is based on their investment in Anthropic, the ChatGPT competitor. This is not financial advice. Let's jump into why Amazon is in a good spot to buy, in my opinion.
This is Sam Putnam.
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 So this is the stock right now. If we look on a 5-year chart, in the past year, basically, this is a breakout level. So pretty important spot for them. Apple also recently breaking out to all-time highs. Apple got a little bit chopped on the way there with that China Trump tiff, but since broke out, earnings were good and then sold off. So if you look at that here, you can see a level to buy Apple there. You can see why you don't want to just buy earnings right away and why you want to let a stock close after earnings. So you can see Amazon did come down a little after that earnings day. So their growth for AWS is up 20%. They are going to be spending a couple, or at least $100 billion in capex on data centers, and their earnings per share was a beat, but also grew. If we go back to, let's see, this would have been Q3 2024, earnings per share is up like 30%. Sales are up too. So things were good for Amazon. As far as levels to buy, I mean, very quickly, staying above here is an important level, but also just this level right here where it closed. So if it opens somewhere in here on Monday, you can risk this close, a few bucks, and then look for a move up from there. Of course, as with all these ideas, sometimes they don't work and it goes down, right? But you just sell. And when you make a lot more on your wins than you do on your losses, which is how this all works, right? You look for breakout opportunities where maybe there's a flag shaping up or earnings reaction level, something like that, where you risk, $5 and then you look to make 10, 20 or more. So that is the name of the game. As far as recent news, I don't know if it was 30,000 or 15,000. They're still doing their big holiday hire, but yeah. And the story here is that the unspoken truth is that AI is kind of a guaranteed ROI, whereas hiring people is not. So it's kind of crazy. I saw this chart that said basically that as ChatGPT was introduced in 2023, job openings, just fell off a cliff as the market, pushed up. We all saw how the market did in the last 5 years. 2022 was bad, and then since 2023, it's been pretty much awesome, with some, tariff pullback, couple pullbacks being the exception, but there's always pullbacks. So that's the spot for Amazon. That's the backdrop with the employees. And as far as what they're up to, AWS did grow. Azure is actually growing faster. Azure has kind of been the dark horse. I remember going to a Google I/O event in 2015, maybe it was. And someone who had just sold their startup to Google was saying, bet on Azure. Don't count them out. and I was kind of like brushed it off because Microsoft is the old crusty company in the room, right? But he was obviously right, incredibly smart guy, and here we are, whatever, 10 years later, Azure with a ton of customers, Azure being the reason ChatGPT is able to exist at all, Microsoft's renegotiating that 25+% that they get of ChatGPT equity, OpenAI equity. So yeah, this is videos about Amazon. I'm just saying that this is not surprising. And just to look at Microsoft's chart, yeah, it did sell off a little bit, but it's still at pretty much a level that's held for a while. And compared to, I mean, the only Mag 7 that kind of got embarrassed was Meta. So Amazon definitely with the best reaction, Google up there as well. We'll see what happens with the OpenAI sort of saga, if they're going to come out with some agreement, or NVIDIA is going to come out with some agreement with Amazon or AWS. But so far, those agreements have been pretty good overall, but recently not super important. I mean, Walmart sold off after that OpenAI deal. Broadcom, was helped by it somewhere in here, right here. They announced that OpenAI agreement. And, Intel got help with that NVIDIA investment for sure. Up here, actually, I guess. What am I talking about? This is the Trump stake. And then AMD was the NVIDIA investment. But I don't think, I almost want to double check. Was there NVIDIA investment in Intel? I don't think that further OpenAI deals or NVIDIA deals are going to have the same boost, specifically the OpenAI deals. This Nokia one for $1 billion is a huge deal because it's a tiny company. But if OpenAI comes out with an agreement with Nokia, for example, well, it's not an example, not a good example because it's a tiny company, but say they come out with one with, it's hard to say who it would be. Meta doesn't make any sense. Maybe BlackBerry? I mean, something crazy like that. It's also a $5 company, so that would probably have an impact. You get the general gist of what I'm saying, though. Like, if you look at these, there's only so many companies left for OpenAI to partner with, and the Oracle sell-off was kind of an example of, as well, once they released info that their margin isn't as good as NVIDIA chips, this thing just sold off. So, end of the day, you have to just trust the price action. AMD was a good opportunity, not because of what it looked, what it looked like they were going to do with OpenAI, but it was more about how this pullback held and the chart still looked good. So all that to say, the idea is Amazon, the earnings looks good. One of the best earnings reactions. There's a level to buy it off of because this is the close and we're opening up tomorrow and the market looks like it's going to hold for sure. So that's the best opportunity I can think of. If you like these ideas, hit that like button. Short and sweet ideas. If you want to get a free course, how to buy stocks before they go up, hit that subscribe. I'll post that as a post for channel members. And if you are short on time, you want to work with me, head over to stockscommunity.com and you'll get the best idea rather than a bunch of videos. And you can also ask about your portfolio in there. See you in the next one. Hope this helps.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.